Does Catnip work on Stoats? By Ray of Frost on AO3. Summary. Mike sat next to Aizawa on the couch, with a Cheshire grin on his face. Guess what I did today? The blonde said in a sing-song voice. When he didn't get an immediate reply, he took it as his cue to keep talking. To get back at Nedzu for previous April Fool's Days, I spiked his tea with catnip. That finally got a reaction out of his gloomy coworker. You did what? Aizawa shouted. UA started a week earlier than any other schools in Japan. While this may seem reasonable for a school as prestigious as UA, it also ensured that school was in session for Nedzu's favorite holiday, the 1st of April, April Fool's Day. Every year, the rat came up with the most elaborate and petty pranks. One year, he swapped all the coffee with ground tree bark. Another year, he moved everything in the teacher's lounge 3 inches to the left. Aizawa crept into the teacher's lounge, apprehensively, expecting a bucket full of water or a glitter bomb. When neither happened, he sighed in relief and slowly moved to the couch. The paranoid man patted the cushions to ensure they wouldn't explode or weren't filled with something weird. Determining the couch was safe, he plopped onto the furniture. He plopped out an extra large thermos of coffee he made at home. He was not going to risk using the coffee machine. Mike entered the room, even more paranoid than Aizawa. Seeing his friend had already inspected it, he sat next to Aizawa on the couch, with a Cheshire grin on his face. Guess what I did today? The blonde said in a sing-song voice. When he didn't get an immediate reply, he took it as his cue to keep talking. To get back at Nedzu for previous April Fool's Days, I spiked his tea with catnip. That finally got a reaction out of his gloomy coworker. You did what? Aizawa shouted. The man suddenly shot up and carefully gathered his things. Mike looked at Aizawa with confusion, and then with mounting horror as the weight of his actions finally clicked. Fuck. Iida watched with a keen gaze across the sea of students when he noticed something off. An abnormally sized group of students huddled around a bulletin board. It was admirable that they were so invested in extracurricular activities. But when they were beginning to impede traffic, Iida made his way through the crowd in an attempt to clear it and make everyone go to their first classes. When he finally got to the bulletin board, he paled. Posted on the board were photos of Tensei and his friends during high school. Tensei and his friends running through the hallways? How preposterous! Iida shook his head and kept moving. He was going to be late for class if he idled much longer. The bespectacled teen turned the corner and froze in shock. Plastered over every wall and every ceiling were incriminating photos of his older brother and teachers from their day in UA's hero course. From things like them making silly faces to carrying out pranks and dares, to doing drugs, Iida could hardly contain his shame. His view of his older brother was totally shattered. He glanced around the display once more, like how one would a train crash, and saw... Oh my! Iida's face flushed bright red as he fled the scene. Aizawa prepared to begin his homeroom. So far, the photos were Nedzu's only prank, and while he didn't appreciate his private life being posted for the whole school to see, he was glad that it wasn't worse. Just as he was starting to calm down, the PA system chimed. Shit. Music started playing over the speakers. It was a piano ballad with a simple chord progression, one that Aizawa instantly recognized. Just a small-time girl living in a lonely world. Mike's obnoxious singing blasted through the PA system, and Aizawa stood and stared at the speaker with a look of utter disbelief and horror as Mike's poorly done cover of Journey's Don't Stop Believin' played over the PA system. The whole class fell silent and stared at the speaker with dumbfounded expressions. Some were shocked, some were trying to hold their laughter, some were horrified, and then there was Iida, whose face turned beet red as he buried it in his arms. Mike was panicking. Not only had Nedzu shared embarrassing photos of him in high school and blasted what he sings in the car, but the rat also glued every piece of furniture in his classroom to the ceiling. The poor blonde hadn't been able to catch a break today. At least it was finally lunchtime. With as much stealth as the DJ hero could muster, he snuck his way to the cafeteria to claim his meal before anything else could happen. When he graciously accepted a bento box from Lunch Rush, he made a break for his classroom. He was not chancing the break room. He ran into his room and slammed the door shut. Slowly, he slid to the floor and opened the bento. Then he shrieked, "There's a roach!" The tremors from Mike's quirk were felt all the way in the lunchroom. Midoriya wondered what prank was pulled on the pro this time. Nedzu was obviously using April Fool's Day to get back with the man for some reason. Or, at least it was evident to the greenette. Midoriya shrugged and dug into his curry. All was well in the world until the alarms went off. The students were in a panic. They scampered towards the nearest exit, but Midoriya remained calm. This was probably just another prank. No reason to waste his perfectly good curry. Shigaraki blinked at the now open gate with extreme confusion. He had just begun to disintegrate it when it suddenly retracted. The villain stood like a shocked statue as the press surged onto the grounds. The mob grounded to a sudden halt as it came face to face with the steel barrel of a gun. "Hello, trespassers," Nedzu's chipper voice played over the PA system. "I opened the door so I could tell you to leave more directly, but you all assumed you'll be getting a soundbite. You jumped the gun and are now trespassing on UA property." As Nedzu gave his speech, declaring that what he was about to do was perfectly legal, multiple guns popped out of the walls and aimed. They may be loaded with rubber balls, but they will undoubtedly be painful to deal with. I'll give you the count of 3. Reporters started scrambling to leave the premise, dragging Shigaraki with them. 1. The sadistic rat began counting. Then the guns fired. The paparazzi screamed as they were peddled with rubber rounds that exploded on impact. Puff of extra fine, biodegradable rainbow glitter filtered the air and drenched the reporters. "Oh, you thought I'd actually give you 3 seconds." Nedzu's crackling was clear over the speakers, the laughter of a deranged madman. Meanwhile, inside the school. "What the hell?" one of the students yelled. "Why are we getting bombarded too?" another questioned. "I know I desire to sparkle, but not like this." Kurogiri didn't know why he had to go on this fetch quest, as his young master called it, when they had a perfectly viable traitor to leak information, but he wasn't one to defy orders. The hallway he teleported into was plastered with photos. The photos gave him a weird feeling in his gut, but the bartender didn't have time to unpack that. Suddenly, a man with glasses, covered head to toe in glitter, ran into him, causing a small puff of glitter. The man appeared to be a hero, Present Mike. That weird feeling returned as the panicked man shook his shoulder violently. "Run for your life!" he shrieked before taking off in the opposite direction from where he came. It didn't take long to see why, as a giant mechanical spider with a gun for a head came barreling through the hallway, peddled Mike with glitter bombs. Dumbfounded, the mist-covered man shook his head and returned to his task. He entered the teacher's lounge and approached one of the desks. He was searching for a schedule when he picked up one of the many photos out of curiosity. He wondered why they were significant enough to warrant plastering the school with them. The photo was of 3 teenagers. One was blonde-haired, laughing. One was black-haired with a small smile. And one was wispy blue hair, grinning, while holding the black-haired one in a headlock. Pain shot through Kurogiri's head, and the bartender collapsed. Mike dragged himself back to the teacher's lounge. Now supporting an iridescent shine from the glitter, he tiredly flopped face first onto the couch, with a small shimmering puff. The blonde groaned into the armrests. Something felt off, like he wasn't alone. He lifted his head and nearly vomited. Laying passed out on the ground was a man in a bartender suit. That wasn't the worst part. The man was deathly pale, with small wisps of purple-black smoke drifting off him. He had light blue hair that flowed like a fluffy cloud and faded into some dark color of the smoke. Nedzu took this one too far. Hizashi moved to the crouch next to the man, who looked like a warped, aged-up version of his dead friend. He reached to poke the man, but hesitated at the last second. He was afraid that if he touched him, the illusion would shatter. Instead, Hizashi sat with his legs crossed and watched the unconscious man intently. The blonde was too tired to realize how weird this entire situation was. The man stirred and grunted in pain. He clutched his head and tried to sit up. Ugh, I feel like someone dropped a building on my head. He groaned. Then bluish-gray eyes, with a ring of glowing yellow, met lime green, and Hizashi wailed with tears. Hizashi didn't care that it was too good to be true, or that Oboro was technically trespassing. He was exhausted, and all he cared about was hugging his old friend. In the aftermath of Aizawa walking in on a sobbing Mike hugging a friend whose death took decades to get over, all the involved parties gathered in Nedzu's office. Mike, Midnight, Aizawa, and Oboro sat squashed on a couch across from Nedzu. Recovery Girl had given Oboro a quick checkup and was currently running some blood work to check for abnormities. So, the rap broke the silence. Not even I could have predicted this turn of events. However, I wanted to address why this year's April Fool's was so over the top. Note to self, don't let Nedzu anywhere near Catnip ever again. Mike grumbled under his breath. Yamada, did you really think I wouldn't be able to smell the catnip in my tea this morning? The blood drained from Hisashi's face, and Nedzu grinned evilly. Even if I did drink the catnip, it has no effect on me. Hizashi looked at the principal with utter horror. April Fools, Yamada. Now go clean up the glitter while we're finished getting Oboro here back on his feet. I had so much fun with this one. This one was super nice. It was super fun. Also, there is a picture of something that the author drew, and it is linked into the fanfic. So go ahead and check that. Look at that. And definitely go check out the fanfic down below. I had lots of fun with this one. This one is super fun. This is definitely one of those fics that I constantly listen to when I'm falling asleep. There's another podfic out there of it. The channel is linked everywhere in my channel, so don't worry. You'll find it, trust me. Especially towards the end of the video when I start saying my outro and stuff like that. The other channel that's linked there, yeah, go ahead and press it and you'll find it. But yeah, this is definitely one. I used it last night because I had a huge headache and I needed something. So this is definitely one of those that I listen to constantly. I will say though, look. I'm not good on big words, and there were some big words here that I was struggling on. My lisp was not allowing me to say it, so if there was some things that you heard lisp-wise, that's my bad. My mouth doesn't work properly, apparently. But yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this one. I don't know if Kingston's here listening to this one. Hi, Kingston, if you are. If you're not, ignore that. I don't know if the author of this fic is here. Hi, hello, I have a massive crush on you. Hee hee ha ha. Like, you make me, you make me so happy, if I'm being honest. Like, you're amazing. Like, all jokes aside of me being like little hee hee ha ha, like, actually, you're a really nice person and I really like you a lot. Actually, more than like, if I'm being honest. You know which word. I'm not gonna say it in the video, but yeah, this was super fun. I always love this fic. As I said, it's one of my go-tos when I'm having trouble sleeping. I put it on. It is funny. It is hilarious. It's obviously a crack fic. The reason why I put glitter in one of them is because glitter in the tag is because, like, dude, Nedzu overuses the glitter. I think my favorite part of this has to be when he, like, goes to shoot the people. Not the people, the reporters with, like, the rubber bullets that explode into glitter. Like, oh my god. Like, specifically the moment where he's like, one, and then it starts shooting. And Nedzu's like, did you really think I would give you 3 seconds? Like, really? You really thought that was gonna happen? That's not gonna happen. I love it so much. It is 100% to die for. I love it, like, so much. It is one of my favorite ones, so I'm happy to be here and being able to do this. I'm so happy. And I'm probably gonna do some other ones of this, this writer, maybe. This author. Who knows? Probably, definitely. I mean, you know, it depends. I mean, most of them aren't done yet. There's 1 or 2 one-shots that are kind of done and stuff like that. But for the most part, I think this one was my favorite. And I think for now, this is the only one that I'm gonna do. So, in another footstep, oh, it's this. It's this. It's this. I know this. I know this. I definitely need to read this one. But, no, yeah, that's definitely, sorry, I was just looking at something. But that's definitely something that, if they start posting more, I'm definitely gonna start doing more, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I know what their schedule is like, but I definitely had fun. I definitely love this, you know, little one-shot, and I'm glad that I was able to do this one. I'm super glad, you know? Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.